Jonesy, we're back.
Officially back, week 2, season 9.
Yeah.
And, mate, have you ever seen a Group 1 weight for age contest at Caulfield over 1,400 metres before?
In my equine years? Yeah, I have.
There's a few of them. We got the Memsie Stakes this week, mate. How are you feeling about it?
Oh, yeah, good. Good to see, I think it's the 6th edition of the Pride of Jenni versus Mr Brightside kind of head-to-head. I think it's 4-1 to Jenni.
Good.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we reckon if Brightside can lower the distance there.
Yeah, we'll see. But look, aside from that, there's some good races for the 3-year-olds in Sydney. There's a couple other races on the undercard in Melbourne. Look, we're going to go through it all. But if you're going to go through it all this weekend, who are you going to go through it with?
Well, obviously the good people at Ned's, because we can go from Sydney to Melbourne with a little bit of taste of Italy at the same time and get weird and exotic in a benchmark 100 race that is actually disguised as a listed race.
Since when are they calling benchmark 100s listed races? What's going on? What the hell?
I don't understand.
Oh, yeah. It's funny, horse racing. Yeah. It's just funny seeing the same suspects over and over and over again.
We're suckers for it.
We are trying to find a winner. It's the same horses all. Oh, my God. But look, can't wait. Thanks to the people at Ned's. Obviously, you can do everything that you want to do on their app. Get weird and exotic. Like you said, get Italian if you want, European trip perhaps. Also got the profiles.
Yeah, profiles. There'll be plenty of stuff up there. Even if, I'm putting up some futures plays in there as well. And there's something coming later this week on our Instagram for futures. So you better tune in to have a look.
Sheesh.
But what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Mr Brightside fins the bob and wins again. Zardozy wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr Brightside or Romantic Warrior.
The mare's going. Great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl.
Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a length.
Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Ketton won the spring champion in a cakewalk.
Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
Mate, we're back for the first Group 1 in Victoria. What are your thoughts? Are you excited?
Yes. It's heavy at the top and then the quality falls away quite drastically in the Memsie. But no, look, it'll be good to see Pride of Jenni back. She's a spectacle. She's a sight to behold.
Yeah, have you been keeping up to date with the Joneses, with your cousins on about the drama of Mr B versus Pride of Jenni?
Not really.
Yeah, okay. It's more so just like, the owner going like, yeah, she's the best.
Tony.
Yeah.
Tony loves the banter.
He does. I think it's good for the game.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Look, if the two of us, if we had a superstar in the On the Drift stable, I can tell you 100% would be tootin', would be hollering and hootin'.
If we had one?
If we had a Group 1 star.
Gee, we will have one hell of an update to the Drifters next Wednesday.
We sure will.
Wow.
Yeah, we sure will. It's something that, we've been dreaming about and alluding to for a long time, and it's coming to fruition probably sooner than what we thought.
Way sooner. Am I surprised? Not in the least.
But, that's us.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And, will I be betting on one of my favourite over bet types? Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I have a vision of that panning out exactly how you anticipate. Like that's, I can see it clearly.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of clear vision, here's a yarn for you. So, young Mick of My Youngest Brother fame, he's a 21-year-old still living at home, studying, working part-time. So I wouldn't say he's flushed with cash, with all due respect, young man. So he thought that he would take advantage of the family health insurance scheme and treat himself to some free Sunnies through health insurance, right?
Sure.
The only issue is when he went and got his eyes checked a couple of years ago, he had perfect vision. So he was like, how am I going to get these free Sunnies if my vision's perfect? So he goes and gets an eye test and he lies about how good his vision is. So he gets these free prescription Sunnies. He starts wearing them. And after a while, he's like, why are these giving me a headache?
Mate.
Because they're prescription, mate, and you don't need them. He just wanted a free pair of Sunnies, the young fella.
Oh, Mick. Not your finest, mate. He knew that. Surely deep down he knew
surely he must have known.
Yeah.
Just go to the bloody chemist and get a $10 pair.
That's it, mate.
You know.
At that age,
Yeah, who cares?
you just got to get by.
Who are you trying to impress?
Yeah, you just got to protect your eyeballs
Yeah.
and not do any lasting damage. Yeah. Ask the drifters who they thought was winning the Memsie Stakes.
Yeah.
Now, Mitch Felton. Brightside to run them down late after Jenni, and Gentleman Roy to go hammer and tongs.
Yeah.
O'Sheen, Casey, Brightside, Cooper both. Don't know why, just can't seem to get on board with the Pride of Jenni train. Just can't trust it. So Mr. B. Then Josh Buttonshaw. I think he might be moving into number one ticket holder, this guy. Bodyguard would put this field to bed with a nice on the drift podcast and a bottle of milk.
Okay.
I did ask him where Bodyguard's heading. I'm assuming a Golden Rose, but didn't hear back. Not yet. At the time of recording.
Well, the run to the Rose would be in 2 weeks, wouldn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, because it'd be mid-September, and then, because the Golden Eagles, the Golden Rose is the 28th of September, I believe.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. Yeah, love the 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? Pride of Jenni, can you trust her? Because I think she's put a fairly decent body of work together.
Oh, look, I think people's underlying issue, not issue, but the lack of trust with Pride of Jenni probably stems from the fact that she's a 7-year-old mare.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until she was a 6-year-old mare in the spring last year that she started putting together the CV as it stands right now. Like if she was a 3-year-old last season and that was her, and then she was doing that, what she does now as a 4-year-old, you'd be like, yeah, she's an absolute superstar. But there's an element of a 12-month-long flash in the pan, a purple patch of form, you might say. Think about, I don't know, Steve Smith's purple patch.
Smudge.
That went for a long time though, didn't it?
But a year in equine terms is almost Smudge's like 3 years of dominance.
True. Yeah, it is. It really is in equine terms. So, yeah, you're just questioning the fact that can she replicate what she did in the autumn and then to a lesser extent what she did in the spring? I get that.
That's the question. Are you going to answer your own question? What do you reckon?
I think if I'm going to get a beat this prep, I think it's going to be first up over 1,400 metres. Just like we were talking about with Fangirl and Via Sistina last week. Ultimately, we were half right. You know?
And I feel like it's better to be right about the one that's paying $2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the issue then becomes, okay, cool. So you're taking on Pride of Jenni, who's
$2.
Short in the market with something else that's effectively the same price.
Yeah, well, looking at the odds in front of my screen right now, Mr Brightside is now favourite.
Is he?
So Pride of Jenni, I'm looking at $2.60 with the good people in Eds at the moment. She opened at $2.10. So that's a sizable drift. And Mr Brightside is rock solid about $2.45.
Okay. If I'm getting $3 for Pride of Jenni on the weekend, that's my bet.
Yeah.
And that's my on top selection. As it stands right now, I'm hoping there's a bit of a drift on Antino and he gets closer to I think he should be closer to $10 personally.
Yeah, I think so. What was it? He was $4.50 first up at Eagle Farm where he absolutely spanked their bottoms in the UNU recruitment victory stakes.
Yes. It's funny that. And the reason why he would be my tip here is for a couple of reasons. Residual fitness. That first up run last start, over 1,200 metres albeit, but the race shape set up for him so well because he was just stalking behind and they were going hell for leather up front. And I see one Pride of Jenni, I see one Gentleman Roy, and therefore I see some genuine pace, you would imagine, in this race.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Antino goes well fresh. I feel like he might be better on his left leg. So I'll probably put him on top at the moment. But if I'm getting $3 for Pride of Jenni, that's my bet. How'd you see it?
Don't know about Pride of Jenni. $2.50, probably want to stick out. I think I'm sticking out of this race entirely, but Antino was the one that I was like, oh, if I get double figures for him, I could have something small on him.
Do you know what frustrates me is you've got two in the market at, let's say sub 250.
Yep.
Shouldn't that therefore mean that the next horse in the next line of betting would be closer to $10? Like,
Would have thought so.
like $7, please.
Yeah, I know. Like you got, top 4 fancies in the market are below $10.
Yeah,
Like for Gentleman Roy, $9.50. It's like, I understand it. Like he's been up.
He's
for a
going
while.
well.
He's recaptured his form from last couple of years, which is great. But he also won a benchmark 100 basically when he resumed off his 7-week let up against Devoted, and he's $9.50 here.
Yeah. So you're saying the bookies are effectively saying that $2.50 for Brightside, $2.50 for Jenni. That's what? That's like what, 80 to 90% of the market that they're effectively saying with those prices. And based on that logic, then, well, okay, give me a bigger price for everything else then.
Yeah, would have thought so.
So it's not a betting race.
Yeah, I don't think so. So Antino's the one that I agree could jump out of the ground, but I don't know. I think he's kind of failed when he's got to this top level as well, but I think this is the one. It's almost like one of his best setups in a Group 1 that I've seen for him, because he does have that residual fitness. Bigger fish to fry for Jenni with the Cox plate.
J Carr
on, yeah. Fascinating booking too. And what I was highlighting and alluding to on the review podcast on Sunday was Pride of Jenni and her, I guess, experience at Caulfield as well. I think there's, looking at the stats, it's fine. 10 runs at the track, 2 wins, 2 seconds, 1/3. The distance is probably the thing that worries you a bit more. 11 starts for 1 win, 4 seconds, and 1/3. So she does get, and she's never won first up either.
Yeah. So there's question marks there, but
Leo's having his say, everyone. He hasn't done this. He literally hasn't done this all day.
he's going off like a cut snake. Maybe that'll be Pride of Jenni out the front. He's going off. Oh, like I think she can win, definitely. I just it's not a betting race for me.
I think your point about Antino, right? And I think what Pride of Jenni can do though is she gets that far in front that the other horses go like, and we saw her in the Queen Elizabeth at the last time we saw her at the track. It's like she goes that far in front there where the speed that she's setting is almost irrelevant, because she's putting that much far of a gap behind that you almost treat the leader of the following pack as the leader.
Yeah, 100% correct. Because mathematically it's impossible for them to catch up because she's done the damage already. She in the Queen Elizabeth, she won the race halfway through the race. Do you know what I mean? I think this race sets up differently for a number of reasons. Mostly because of the distance, but also the existence of Gentleman Roy is drawn just outside Pride of Jenni.
Yeah,
and he'll want to be nice and handy. There was no one doing that in the Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so what about Mr Brightside?
I think he can definitely win. His 1400 metre record is immaculate. It's so good. He's drawn well. Interesting to see what they do with him this prep. Are they targeting him towards another Cox plate? Will he, and therefore will he be not as wound up as what he was last Memsie, where I don't think he was first up last year. I think he went to the PB and then came into the Memsie second up. So maybe they're trying to keep him a bit, save his legs for something further. But he can win definitely. I just want to see him jump better because he didn't do that last prep.
He did that in the Queen Elizabeth, but Craig, that was probably one of Craig's worst rides, but he was riding his horse to get his best performance. Mm-hmm. It was, everyone apart from Pride of Jenni and Declan Bates in that race put a line through them. Okay, so what's your top 4 in the race then?
So I've got Antino on top as it stands right now. Jenni, Brightside, Roy.
Yeah, I'm very similar. I think I do have Pride Jenni on top though. All things at the price. Thing is like I don't foresee Pride Jenni getting out to $3. So I do anticipate that I'll get around $8 to $9 for Antino. So if he gets out to that price, I'll probably be having a bet. So for that reason, I'll put Antino on top, Pride of Jenni, Mr Brightside, Gentleman Roy. So, all right, let's get to the rest of this card, hey? Mm-hmm. Now, what we did fail to, which we were talking about for about 10 minutes before we actually started all this, was Caulfield. So the rail is in the true position. There is also a northwesterly wind. So basically that will be coming across the track and it will be basically going into the fence for the majority of the time, into the horse's left eye in the straight. So just keep that in mind. It is 25 to 35 kilometres per hour. For reference, I think Derby Day, Flemington, obviously different setup. Southerly wind, that was about 30 k's an hour. So, it can have an influence. But all that aside, and you have the beauty of this as well, is like you have plenty of racing up front to see if there is any pattern, is any effect from the wind, so you can, adjust while you can. Race 5, though, the Vale Black Caviar. 1,100 metres, Group 3, set weights and penalties. Is this like one of the omen bets of the day with Chain of Lightning and Moods?
Yeah, fair point. I didn't even think about that. I'd take Black Caviar on in this race if it's not a heavy deck. No Black Caviar, Chain of Lightning.
I was like, huh?
You never take it.
She would
literally put 10 lengths on these.
She would lap these.
She'd put 10 lengths on these. Yeah, Jesus. Chain of Lightning, yeah, no, like she had a phenomenal last prep, but I think it was just a case of jumping out of the ground at the right time.
Yeah.
The two that are in the market, Recommendation and Arkansas Kid, are in great form. I'm sort of looking at Kalos as well. First up, bit of a distance specialist. The other two are coming back from 1,200 metres. So maybe him fresh over 1,100 metres might just be the opportunity to jump him from that gate with J. Carr. Yeah. Kalos, I think, is the one for me. What do you reckon?
Mate, easy bet here, Kalos.
Yeah.
Like I like him a lot. His trials have been super in Sydney, and I think he's got a bit of an attitude. He's what is he? He's like your utility on a rugby league team. Because they send him to Caulfield. They send
Real
him
Connor
to
Watson type.
They sent him to Rosehill and Morphettville last prep.
Kalos Watson.
Yeah, they send him bloody everywhere. So I think, and he did his best racing early in the prep at Caulfield as well, at a huge price, where he actually knocked off the likes of Asfura and Zapateo, who are both subsequent Group 1 winners.
What the hell?
So Kalos, on top for me, J. Carr stalked the speed, and there's a bit of speed. There's enough speed up in early here, so I think Kalos is the one.
Yeah, interesting little race. Well, some of these, what sort of sprinting handicap races do we have in the spring? None come to mind. When's the Oakley Plate?
No, that's in autumn.
Because pretty much the Moyer and the Manikato, isn't it, down in Melbourne, and then we've got is the Galaxy.
No, that's
this autumn as well.
I don't think there is any. Just looking,
because like a few of these are prime candidates for that. Your Recommendations, your Arkansas Kids, your Ackerman Chulas.
Yeah, no, it's all sprints. You had all the Way for Age sprints, so disregard.
Okay. Well, yeah, there you go. We're on the same page so far, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, let's go to the McNeil race 6. 1,200 metres Group 3 for the 3-year-olds, set weights and penalties. I thought this was a fascinating little race with some B to C graders, but I think there's one in particular that I'm interested in that I think could put his hoof up to go to the next level.
The Yulong thing?
No.
Okay.
Stay focused.
Stay focused, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Out of the Blue Diamond. Was he the first colt home?
Yep.
Stay focused? Yeah, interesting. What are your thoughts?
I think he's trialled up very nicely. I think I love that they've basically gone like, you know what? 3 runs is enough for a young 2-year-old colt. I'm going to put him away for basically 6 months. And I think they did try and bring him back. I think there was a trial around maybe June, July or May. And then he obviously wasn't right, so they put him away again. Couple of trials into this. I think he could explode because he showed a lot of promise.
He did, yeah, in his first couple runs.
He ran half a length to Bodyguard in the Blue Diamond Prelude. So I think he's kind of one of the forgotten 2-year-olds, now 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
I think he could take the next step.
Yeah. Interesting. I think Growing Empire from Adelaide, he put him to the sword there and he looked like a smart little horse.
Beat Bitter Creek by a couple of lengths at Moonee Valley as well. Bitter Creek was in the market in the JJ.
Yes. The other one that I think's probably worth a throw at the stumps at odds is number 4, Astapor. Joined Jack Pride from Clinton Taylor. He was in Eagle Farm. What was that race? The Megastar Heart race with Embassy and Depth of Character as well. The Oxlade Stakes. He was also in the Arabian Summer race. So was racing pretty well in Brisbane. Has obviously changed trainers and ran super in that Gatsby's race, the Rosebud, the other week. And he'll lead and will give it a sight. So I think at a big price, Astapor is one that you could probably keep an eye on. But yeah, stay focused. I agree. I remember him in that Blue Diamond sort of racing wide without cover, ran super. So, yeah.
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 Best 2-year-old form doesn't always translate to the best.
We saw that on the
3-year-old
weekend.
form. Yeah, exactly.
McNeil got rolled.
Well,
in a B and C grade race, I think.
Stablemate of Amina, Tropicus, Anthony Sam Freeman, dual accepted for Sydney as well, but I love that stable for more than one reason. But you'll see here, his only career start to date was at Caulfield, and then he's had a couple of trials, one of them being in Brisbane, so they've sent him to the Sunshine State to spell as well. So love to see that. I think from memory, this horse was all over the shop in his run, and he's still got the job done, so I think there's a lot of improvement to come for him. So hopefully he's matured a little bit.
He's running matured.
Cockram Stakes is race 7, 1200 Group 3 for the mares, set weights and penalties. Early in the acceptances, there was Chain of Lightning was in this market, and I think she would have won this race if she went here. But alas, she's not here. I found it really difficult to actually single out one. I think they're all quite similar.
Yeah, it's a tough race. I like Skybird. I think she's a smart little horse. I don't know if this sets up well for her though. First up at 1200 meters, sort of being one of the top weights in the market out of gate 16, makes it really hard for her. But she'll be launching late, and I've got a bit of time for her. I backed Extra 2 last start at the Valley, and that was last weekend. So on the quick backup here, and if Kieran Maher is doing something like that. He's obviously this is a Group 3, so he wants to get black tight with the filly. But a bit of weight relief, 56 kilos, Extra 2. Sometimes they can jump out of the grounds. So I think at $8 she's probably the play I'd have.
Yeah. Quintessa, I could probably steer that way. She had an enormous prep last in the autumn, just didn't end. And it stopped in the Oaks. At Randwick as well. So, but she was racing against like the boys. She was racing in the Guineas. She was racing bloody everywhere. So she's potentially one, but yeah, not a race I'm really too interested in.
No.
The Heatherlie, I reckon your old mate won this last year.
Who's my old mate?
The horse that ran third in the Melbourne Cup, Craig's horse.
Oh, Shiraz.
Second.
Oh, Solcombe,
I reckon, won this fresh last year.
He did, at a big price. And I didn't have a cent on.
No, because he wasn't going to get warmed up. You know what I don't know if you saw the post during the week on the Drift podcast Instagram page of the 1400 metre Kings and Queens.
Yes.
There's some Melbourne Cup winners in there. Like some serious horses in there. There was VE, obviously, Mackay Diva, obviously Farlap.
Yeah, 1400 metre specialist. It's weird, isn't it?
Hartnell.
Yeah.
Like he won over
Sydney
2
Cup,
mile.
didn't he?
I don't know a Sydney Cup, but he won over 2 mile. Might have been back home.
So you think won a 1400 metre Group 1 and ran third in the Melbourne Cup. What a freak.
I know. So it's like for the 1400, it's like, if they can do a good job. So over 1700, my God, they're set up very well first up.
Well, look, there's a horse here in the same sort of silks, and someone is in the ownership of that horse, and it's very well named. And that's number 11, St. George.
Yeah, tell me about this horse.
Bro hasn't raced for a very long time, 12 months. They bought him over as a Cups prospect. Brought him over. They bought him and brought him. They've got a very high opinion of this horse. He is absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
St. George, he's a grey horse. Very well named, Roaring Lion, the sire, out of the Damn Lady Dragon. $61 with the good people at Ned's. Worth having a tiny little speck each way. But I'm looking at the rest of this field and I'm seeing listed race. And I'm looking at the horses in there. I'm like, this is a benchmark 100. We've got Jimmy the Bear. We've got King Magnus.
Banker's Choice.
We've got Muna Mech. This is benchmark 100 central.
Yes, mate.
Future history. Showmanship. Yeah, I think this is a race that you can just let it through to the keeper. But if there's a $61 pop that's that I've mentioned, have something small on it.
You know how you play this? You have a quaddie.
Yeah, you have a quaddie.
Put a big fat F in on it.
Field.
No, what about number 2, Q Tempesta? Have you seen an Italian horse come here before? An Italian horse?
What the hell?
A Group 2 winner.
What the
from
hell?
Italy.
What's going on?
Lindsay Park gets some funny ones.
What's going on?
They get horses from everywhere. They have fingers and pies right across this great globe of ours.
Yeah. Well, look, if you're looking at the breeding of Q Tempesta, territories in Irish Sire and Tipperary Boutique, that mare's obviously also from Ireland, Tipperary. So, that makes sense. Like, if it was an Italian sire and an Italian dam, I'd be very surprised. Yeah. But, just a watch on that one for me.
Mate, I'm looking, and it's a real shame because I was in some of these cities not too long ago. I didn't know there was a racecourse in Florence. I would have gone there. Would have taken the bride down there and,
Well, to Tempesta's credit, he's remarkably consistent.
Yeah.
He was racing in Rome over 2,400 metres. He came third. He went to Milan, darling. He ran third over 2,400 metres. Like he doesn't run poorly.
For his consistent record, I think it's awfully unfair that he's been gelded. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it. So if I was
Buddy? I reckon he'd get along well with Buddy Natoya, this horse. Yeah. Because Natoya loved the pizza, remember? Get along real well with Natoya.
That's funny. Yeah, so I could have a little spec on the Italian guy.
You know what? I might, just for a laugh.
Yeah.
Look, if he wins this race on the weekend, our new favourite horse.
Absolutely. Tempesto. All right. I think that's all she wrote at Caulfield.
Yeah.
So let's go to Rosehill. Now, you know what I should have done, though? I should have actually got the card up. I think it's like race 5 or so that we want to look at.
Race 6 is the San Domenico Stakes.
Okay. Race 6 it is then. The San Domenico Stakes for the 3-year-olds, Group 3, 1,100 metres, set weights and penalties. Now, fascinating. Gatsby's. Barry 6, J-Mac Waller, second up. Spanked him, first up, $1.90. Against a maligned horse across the industry. Probably, at the moment, at the crossroads, whether he's pumped his power or if he's the villain of the industry, Storm Boy.
Bro could be racing for his racing career right now. Like if he fails miserably here, I tell you he'll be serving bloody mares
By the end of the spring.
By the end of the spring, it's this guy, Storm Boy. I rate Gatsby's really highly. Like that was a smart win first up. The stable had a massive boom on him. As a 2-year-old, he just didn't quite come up in that second race to get into the. Can't remember what that race is called. It's like your last chance to get into the Golden Slipper. Failed miserably there as a favourite, but they always had a nice opinion. He was always going to be a better 3-year-old. I really like him, and that win first up was of a horse who will be featuring in the Golden Roses and the Coolmore Studs, maybe even an Everest. I think he's very good. Storm Boy, the question mark has to be the end of the prep, but he was up for a long time, so you could forgive. For me, if you're keen on Storm Boy this weekend, like I think you wait and see, and you see what the market does. If the market starts coming for him, you jump on all aboard, choo. Or if you still like him and he drifts, still play into it because you'll get a better price than what he is now. You'll get $3, and that's a play I'd be willing to make and you're betting on, is he going to reproduce that Magic Millions run? That's what you're betting on. But if Gatsby's gets to $2, I'm happy to play.
Yep.
I really like him.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's probably the first time we've been against Storm Boy on the podcast. Oh, I did have traffic warden when he lost the size just.
Yep.
But it was disappointing end to his prep, wasn't it, in the size? Heavy 8. First time he saw really heavy ground, and I remember J-Mac when he hopped on him the first time, saying it was on a soft track, I believe. Where am I looking? It must have been a trial or something, and J-Mac said he doesn't really appreciate the ground. So maybe he didn't appreciate the ground, but what about his trials? What did you make of his trials?
I thought they were okay.
Yeah.
The second one was good. He won both of them, but that's a typical Waterhouse bot thing. Like they trial really well. So I thought they were okay.
It's hard to.
He's got to give Gatsby's 1.5 kilos. He's apparently, like Adrian Bott was saying, he's come back an absolute monster. So maybe a bit of a gross colt. Like he was a massive 2-year-old.
Yeah, he's come back bigger than that.
If he's come back bigger than that, maybe he needs the run, but. If he comes out and it's a duel between him and Gatsby's and he puts him away, it's on.
Love it.
Love to see it.
Yeah, Golden Rose is on.
Yeah. So happy for either of them to win, but I think Gatsby's is a very smart horse.
Yeah. Okay. I tend to agree with that, but another one I'm shouldering arms.
Yeah, there's a lot of that this weekend.
Oh, well, hey. Grand finals aren't won early in the year.
I'm looking at the date here. It's not even fucking September yet, mate.
No, mate.
When are the whips cracking? Not in August.
No. And a few footy teams need to learn that lesson. Mate, basically the entire AFL bottom 8 the bottom 8 was basically flipped in about April.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. It's a funny game, AFL.
Yeah.
Funny people play AFL.
Yeah.
Lots of dramas.
Yeah. Lots of cooks.
Lots of cooking.
Such a funny story at the moment.
It is. It's just bizarre. Isn't it?
The timing of it is just ridiculous.
It is.
Like, basically, it makes me think that Carlton think they can't even win the first final if they're actually discussing the trade options for that. It's unbelievable. Never heard anything like it.
Yeah, no.
Usually they go like, hey, let us actually just finish the season, then we can talk about this. And they're like, oh, no, we'll give you this guy. Isn't he playing for that for you in the first final?
I mean, Melbourne's going insane. They spent too long, not Melbourne the club, Melbourne in general, Victoria. They're going insane. They spent too long indoors over the COVID period. Like, they're just capitulating. Daggers in the back. Like, look at what's happening to the MIC at the moment.
Yes.
They're in fucking all sorts. AFL's in all sorts. Like they almost create these stories out of nowhere that they end up being true.
Yeah.
And they're not even dominating the AFL at the moment.
And there's
Sydney clubs.
Yeah.
We're in there.
Yeah, Queensland. Well, Lions, not the Suns. But I couldn't agree more. And for some horse trainers, Well, I love the Freemans. They're bringing some of their 3-year-olds up here to spell, but they're talking about putting Without a Fight up into the Melbourne Cup first up. What is happening down there?
God,
I would love to see
jeez,
that.
that'd be an effort.
I would love to see that.
Yeah,
You'd hope you get 20 to 1, right?
you would. He can win it with 58.5 kilos.
First up.
First up's
Good track. Good track's the thing.
that's a challenge. Melbourne Cup, I'm a bit. It is a fair way away.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit.
Okay. Up and coming stakes.
The thing I'm most excited about is Cox Plate.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Memsie.
The Behemoth Stakes. No,
Yeah.
1400 metre Caulfield Group 1s don't do it for me.
No, mate, they don't scratch my itch.
No, they
No
don't
way.
They don't do it for me. at all.
No way.
Like, fucking all this talk about, like, do you know what's funny? I'm seeing all of a sudden it's rearing its head, the whole Group 1 chat, and there's too many. Like, we're ahead of the curve, obviously. We're talking about this fucking 2 years ago. We had a podcast dedicated to it. There needs to be 50 Group 1s. It's like, hello, that's exactly what we did. We did it for you guys. We're the patent committee. Hire us. We've got an hourly rate. It's pretty reasonable. Just ask Neds. And all of a sudden it's rearing its head again. And it's like, it's like, oh, no shit. Like, look at this Memsie Stakes, mate.
Oh, if you
If you take Antino, if you take Mr Brightside, if you take Pride of Jenni, and like, sure, I'll take Aegon and Pinstripe to make something's got to be 100 to 1, and you take them and you put them in the Wink Stakes last week. What a cracking contest!
Yes.
So, like, imagine if Melbourne and Sydney or Victoria and New South Wales sat down and said, "Hey, look, how about this? You take the 1400 metre Group 1 for the spring. We'll take the mile one, so that every 2 weeks each state gets an absolute bumper race, and the prize money's similar. How about that?
Makes too much sense.
Oh, it makes way too much sense.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I can't wait until we see the Mackay Diva in a couple of weeks, where it's going to be, frankly, a yawn fest. But we'll cover it because that is literally what we're paid to do. The up and coming stakes is race 7 at Rosehill. Group 3 for the 3-year-olds again. So taking away from some of those over 1,300 metres. Autumn Glow, though. Do you reckon she just gets the job done here?
I think she's a special little filly. I think your play is here. If she gets $2, yep, give it a nice, responsible whack. But she's about $4 at the moment in futures for the flight stakes. That is not generous. However, she will not start that price because she is the best 3-year-old filly.
Okay.
That's my take. Like, I'm betting up at $2. Happy to take that.
Yep.
The one at odds is the other Waller horse, Aliana.
Oh, still on my notes.
Have a look at her sire. Your guy,
Mate.
Castelvecchio. He's due to make his mark.
He is, but she won like Castelvecchio last start. Probably against similar horses that he beat in that Millennium. What was that? The Millennium Sprint or whatever it was, where he won like $2 million, and he came from the outside and it was like 40 to 1. She won basically like her daddy last start.
He was a good horse.
53 kegs. Barrier 7, $23 is an enormous price. I do not see her starting that price at all.
Very big Mick price. Look, those silks as well, like you can associate those silks with the smart filly, the Star Thoroughbred silks. I think she's a little smarty. So she's the play at odds. Maybe that's a nice little Quincy.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of speed in this race. You could have the likes of Shangri-La Express, who's very well exposed now, but also the likes of Axios, a young colt, for Kieran Ma. And he doesn't get too many 2-year-olds, Kieran, but this Justify colt will be out in front and giving him something to chase as well. Got knocked off on debut, but then absolutely brained him in the next start. So I think there'll be a generous pace here. And if you like a grey horse, number 3 Snack Bar out of Frosted.
I backed Snack Bar a few times last prep. Yum yum.
But yeah, he was fine. I think he needs further. I think he could be like a Derby horse or something.
Yeah, he's gelded.
Yeah,
Snack Bar.
I think he's on a Derby path or something.
Yep.
Like I think you'll see him running Not flashing by like the Great
No.
Flash, but he'll be running home late.
Yeah.
I believe that's it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think that's all she wrote for the weekend. Yeah. We're just heating up.
Yeah.
Caulfield's a bit of a yawn fest, I'm not going to lie. I'm more excited about the 2 races in Sydney.
3-year-olds.
The 3-year-olds, yeah, because, the Memsie Stakes thing, the average age of the horse in there was about 10. So, it's all exposed. We've seen these before, taken in turns.
Yeah, but going around circles.
Yeah. Been here before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a bit of a yawn fest, sorry, drifters. But, we've got a job to do.
Yeah. And, you're listening to this.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's your choice.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't like it, let us know. Like, we're not precious.
No.
We're not precious, but you'll be roasted.
Yeah, there's a couple of things you can do. You can obviously, pause this, go to your podcasting app, wherever you're listening, and see at the top of the description, send us a text message. You can ask us any question or, send in your thoughts about the show. You can obviously do that. You can leave a review. You can subscribe. You can follow us. You can do all that stuff. And the best review across any of our channels will get one of these, a nice new cap. Tune in to YouTube to have a look at that if you wish. But yeah, I think that's about it. That's all she wrote.
That's all she wrote. Onwards and upwards.